Hey everyone, it's Melissa Terzis, DC Real Estate Mama. Today we are going to talk about the cost of living in Arlington, Virginia, and I want you to stay to the end because we're going to share a little secret of something you have to know if you are relocating here before you start your salary negotiations at your current employer. So Arlington, Virginia is just across the Potomac. It's the same metro area as DC. DC, Arlington, and Alexandria are all considered to be part of the same metropolitan statistical area. The cost of living is also very similar. There are differences in prices, though, between Arlington and Washington, DC in both real estate as well as property taxes and income taxes, as well as the personal property tax that they have in the Virginia side. So we're going to talk about that, and let's dive in. We're going to find out where your money goes once you cross the river. So what is the Arlington, Virginia cost of living? Well, Arlington real estate varies in terms of price and type across its many neighborhoods. North Arlington is filled with a lot larger homes. They've got more land, and they tend to be more expensive. South Arlington is a smaller neighborhood. It's more affordable. There's smaller homes, although that is changing thanks to Amazon, which is coming to South Arlington. NerdWallet reports that a salary of $100,000 in Arlington would be comparable to a salary of $107,000 in DC. So they're pretty similar cost of living. Just a $7,000 a year difference will get you comparable from Arlington to the DC side. But for the real estate information, I actually had to separate that out from any cost of living indexes online. So I used our local MLS, which is Bright MLS. So I'll be sharing that information as well. So this is one of the most expensive places. Is it expensive to live here? Yep, it totally is. The thriving local economy keeps everything in check here. There's government jobs, there's contractors, there's lobbyists, there's medical industry, legal, and now Amazon's coming. And so all of that combines together to make a very strong economy in the local area, and Arlington enjoys that as well. The cost of living is only expected to go up here, so let's look in a little bit more detail. When people relocate to DC, choosing what area to live also causes a lot of stress, but what it boils down to is always cost. Home prices are higher in Arlington for reasons that we'll also examine in detail, but other things like utilities and healthcare, those things are governed by state law, so they're going to differ a little bit from DC. In 2021, the average house price in Arlington was $1,119,000 and 432. Don't forget the 432 at the end. The DC 2021 average sales price was $1,095,465. So why is there about a $25,000 difference in the house prices? DC is 2% lower. That may be a surprise, but this is also due to the type of house that's available in each area. So this isn't like an apples to apples comparison here. Arlington has a lot of single family homes that are detached. They're surrounded by land, and you're comparing a lot of that to a DC row house, which is on a very small plot of land. Arlington's median price was $975,000 and DC's was $925,000 in 2021. So houses may be more expensive in Arlington, but condos don't follow suit. One bedroom condos are going to cost you an average of $491 per square foot in Arlington, and in DC the price per square foot average is $612. So definitely a lot higher. The city dwellers are willing to pay a premium, maybe so that they could be closer to work. Rent, one bedroom in Arlington, average rent is about $1,765. Two bedrooms are almost $2,500, and a three bedroom is just about $3,400. Pricey, but still less expensive than DC, where prices are 28 to 30% higher across the board for rents in all categories. Now, healthcare costs. So Arlington has a lot of green space, and it has a couple serious claims to health fame. Named the #1 fittest city by the American College of Sports Medicine in 2020, Arlington boasts that 99% of its residents can walk to a local park in 10 minutes or less. Despite these facts, though, healthcare is 10% higher than DC, which already has some of the highest healthcare costs in the country. Let's talk about utilities for a brief moment. Numbeo reports that the average utilities in Arlington are going to cost $123.93. DC utility prices are $155.78, but DC prices also may include Arlington, and that's what makes it difficult. So I wanted to isolate this out a little bit better to illustrate what the true costs really are. So let's talk about an average bill in Arlington, Virginia for electric. So utilities companies actually are different that serve DC versus Arlington. So the Virginia side is served by Dominion Energy, and DC is served by Pepco, which is the Potomac Electric Power Company. Arlington is about 20% cheaper for electric service when compared to DC. The price per kilowatt in Arlington is $11.66. Compare that same price per kilowatt in DC, $13.18. For 700 kilowatts, what is that? All right, let me put that into perspective for you. That is about a 900 square foot 2-bedroom. So I did some maths for you so that you would know what this would cost. That same 900 square foot home in DC is going to cost $101.85. The same place in Arlington, same 700 kilowatts, it's going to cost you $81.62. Now we're going to talk about a few items where the cost is like negligible comparing Arlington to DC. So I'm actually going to switch a little bit and compare it to New York so that you have a different perspective. Grocery costs in Arlington. So let's say that you've got a bag of groceries in New York that costs $100. In the DC Arlington area, that's going to cost you $81.67. And you can compare that to the national average, which is $69.87. In restaurants, a $100 meal in New York City is going to set you back $82 in Arlington. That national average for that is $70.79. All right, transportation. Well, due to state taxes, gas is typically cheaper in Northern Virginia, but prices depend on where in Northern Virginia. So I took a look at Gas Buddy on a specific day, and Gas Buddy had a regular gallon of gas in Arlington, regular unleaded, at $3.19. But Gas Buddy was also showing prices of $3.05 in the eastern parts of DC, which would still be about 30 to 35 minutes from Arlington, but then closer to $4 in Northwest DC. So gas is definitely cheaper on the Virginia side for the most part until you get a lot further out into DC or Maryland. But Virginia taxes are lower, so I am not going to lie. If I have a quarter tank of gas and I need to go show houses in Virginia, I will never fill up in DC. I will go down to Virginia and I will get the cheap gas there. That's because I'm a Terzis, and that is what it was like being raised by my father. We would drive from gas station to gas station looking for the best price. And I learned how to do it too. All right, so school costs. So public school in Arlington is free and it's pretty well rated. If you choose a private school, expect to pay around $40,000 a year in the DC area. It's costly to send your kid to private school. Childcare costs are also significantly lower in Arlington compared to DC. So here's a daycare tip for you. DC prices, most people that work downtown, DC prices tend to be a lot higher because they're closer to downtown. And I think for probably a couple of reasons, right? People want to drop their kids off and then have them very close by just in case there's an emergency or something happens, but also taking them basically all the way to work with you and then dropping them off at a daycare that's near your office maximizes the time that you can spend at your desk getting work done. This is why DC carries a premium. So average daycare cost for Arlington is $1,550 a month, and for DC that's $1,846 a month. So you're paying about $300 more if you choose to take your child downtown with you as opposed to leave them in Arlington, maybe closer to your house. Average salary in Arlington, Virginia, the median salary is $120,000. Now, there's a couple different business corridors that they look at when they're measuring this. 61% of Arlington residents make $100,000 or more in the North Arlington business corridor of Roslyn to Ballston. The two South Arlington business corridors, Columbia Pike and Route 1, have lower average salaries. 41% of the people in the Columbia Pike area and 53% of those in the Route 1 corridor are making at least $100,000. So you can compare that to 61% up in the northern part of Arlington. With Amazon coming to Route 1 in the Crystal City area, it's generally expected to see salaries rise in the immediate area. This information is shared courtesy of Arlington County, which provides a ton of data on their website, which I'm going to link in the blog post that accompanies this video. So let's talk about some final points and zip this up. Arlington, Virginia, cost of living. So when people find themselves moving to a new high-paying job in Arlington and then suddenly are barely able to make ends meet, they wonder what happened. So the town that you moved from, even if you get an increase of like $15,000 to $20,000, you've got to make sure that you understand the whole picture when you're negotiating with your employer. Something like going from $60,000 to $85,000 or even $90,000 may not even keep you at the same cost of living compared to where you might be living right now. Affordability is a huge concern for people moving to Arlington and the DC area. Most of the online cost calculators really only tell part of the story, and housing costs are one of the hardest things for people here to comprehend when they're moving to Arlington or to DC or the general area. So often if people are relocated here and they seem to be taking what sounds like a great salary jump, they're super surprised when they get out of the car and realize that that extra money is all going toward housing and extra inflated costs compared to where they live. So make sure that you really, really look into this before you start salary negotiations with your employer so that you are sure that this is going to be an improvement in your quality of life. So I'm Melissa Terzis, DC Real Estate Mama. If you want more videos like this, you can subscribe and hit the subscribe button in the corner, and that will alert you as soon as I've got a new video up. If you want to chat or talk about anything Arlington related, give me a call. My contact info is coming next. Thanks.